It is Friday. It's Friday night. And I never started this vlog because, quite honestly, this week was so freaking kooky, I didn't even know what day it was half the time. Whew. But where did I leave you guys off last week? I think I was still... What was I working on? Now I have to look at my story graph because I don't remember. Oh, I was working on Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I did end up finishing that, and I ended up giving it a 4-star. It actually ended up being a lot better than I thought it was going to be. The writing was a little bit kind of like meh for me personally, but still really good. I really liked a lot of what was going on with it. And while there were some things about witchcraft in particular that I kind of thought was questionable, I chalked up a lot of it to being like more set in a further back time frame, because a lot of the things that were brought up were very outdated ideas about witchcraft, which would make sense because this book was taking place in 1970. So a lot of the thought processes that there were back then are now outdated. So there was some logic that had to go into that. But right now I am working on North is the Night by Emily Rath. This is the naked hardback, which is absolutely stunning in my opinion. I really like the art that this has, and then it has these really nice sprayed edges, and then the inside has this beautiful image of one of our main characters, Siri, and a animal companion we have in the book named Cal. And then the back side has art involving our other perspective in this book, which this book is actually really amazing. This is inspired by Finnish mythology and Finnish folklore, and essentially what goes on is it feels very Norse because obviously Finland is part of the kind of Norse realm, but obviously they don't have, like, it's not Norse pagan mythology that's involved in this in particular. This is very much centralized in Finnish specific mythology and folklore, but it has very heavy Norse vibes because it's part of that Northern European Norse area, you know, like, but let's make the distinction. There's two separate things. There's Norse pagan and then there's the Finnish stuff. Okay, let's get that out of the way first of all. So the book basically is about these two girls. There are Siri and Aina. Siri and Aina are best friends. They've grown up with each other most of their lives. They are basically like sisters. The story is basically about how one day Siri and Aina are attacked by this creature that they then figure out is Kalma, which is one of the goddesses of death, essentially. Kalma initially goes after Siri, but Aina basically decides to sacrifice her life for Siri to stay alive, and so Aina is taken away by Kalma. And leading up to this, they've heard about a bunch of these missing girls that have, you know, they've gone missing, and so nobody knows where they are, nobody knows what's happening. Now, Siri is someone who, in this world, this is like pre-Christian, in the sense where, like, this is before a lot of Christian ideals had come into Finland, if you look at the history of it. And it's actually very interesting. Like I said, it has those kind of pagan vibes, but this is like Finland's specific historical, like, folklore and mythology at work here. But there are inklings of Christianity coming into the forefront, and they are starting to push out the old gods and the old ways of religion in especially the place where Siri and Aina are living. Now, Siri, being somebody though that relies on the stories of the old gods, and she still believes in all that and stuff, believes that Aina was taken to a place called Tuonela. Tuonela is basically the Finnish idea of the underworld. Not necessarily hell per se, because hell has a very specific connotation to it, but think of it kind of like the realm of Hades, or maybe even the realm of Niflheim, if you're familiar with Norse paganism. If you're familiar with more of the Greek kind of Greek mythologies, it's very comparable to the realm of Hades. Now, Ciri decides that she is going to go after and find Aina in Tuonela, but she knows that the only way that that's going to happen is if she then basically gets the help and finds this lost shaman that is like myth in and of himself. And his name is Vainamoinen, or something like that. It's more of a Finnish name, so I don't know the correct pronunciation, but I'm going to call him Vane. So she's looking to find Vane to basically bring him back to her home area because he originally was from there and he supposedly had left and nobody knew where he went. And when he left, all of the stuff basically went to shit in their world. And so Ciri decides that she is going to find Vane and somehow convince him to not only help her get to Tuonela, but then also bring him back home so that he can put things right and hopefully oust out the Christian people that are starting to infiltrate their world. Now, there is a secondary perspective in this, the perspective of Aina. Now, Aina, we learn, like I said, she's taken by Kalma, and she does end up in the realm of Tuonela. And what we find out is that there are several other girls that are being taken to Tuonela, likely the girls that have been going missing in the surrounding areas. So in Tuonela, there is this person named Tuanetta, who is basically like the ultimate queen of death. She is like the one that is in charge. And we find out that there's this very specific purpose as to why the girls are being brought here, but it's very mysterious, and Aina is trying to figure out not only how to get out of there, but how to save the other girls that are there. Aina is very much your bleeding heart. She is the one that takes care of everybody. She is like the mother figure that I greatly respect and identify with, like in the sense that taking care of everyone else, making sure everyone else is safe before taking care of yourself, which can run you into trouble, I'm not gonna lie, but that is very much how Aina is. And Ciri is like the antithesis of that. Ciri is more of your rough and tumble. She's gonna go head first into something without really thinking it through, and Aina's always been the one to kind of bring Ciri back, right? But Aina decides that she's gotta kind of like toughen up a little bit to figure out how to beat Tuonetta and then be able to escape Tuonela. And we find out that there are other mysterious things happening within the realm of Tuonela, that all is not as it seems. There's a lot of things going on within it that are hard to explain, hard to understand, and it's a lot of like things that have been building up over time. Let's just say a lot of things have been building up over time. There are a lot of characters that are interconnected. There are a lot of things that are interconnected, because if you believe in the idea, everything is connected to some extent. So there's that, but that's basically like all I'm going to say on the synopsis essentially of this, because I don't want to go into much without spoiling the rest. But you have two characters, one is going after the other, and the other one is trying to basically figure out not only how to survive in this world she's been taken to, but then if she can escape, how she can escape, and then save the other people that are also, you know, there, basically. So I really like this. I think the writing is it's very simplistic, but it does have that very, like, mythological feel to it. It has that very beautiful, lyrical kind of writing at sometimes. And I feel like I'm just addicted to this story. Like, I didn't know how I was gonna like it going into it. I thought it was gonna be pretty subpar writing at first, but I've just been eating this up. Like, I'm sitting here reading like 100 to 150 pages at a time because I just can't stop. And I have fallen in love with both Ciri and Aina so very much in this story, and I love their relationship. I love the relationships that they have with other people and the things that they do, and how they're both really flawed, but how they embrace their flaws and how they understand that their flaws are something to be treasured and can be used as a strength. Like, it's just so wonderful, and I highly recommend this. I think this is going to be like a book that I will use as a jumping off point to read more of Emily Rath, because I know this is her first fantasy, but this is not her first book. Emily Rath is pretty well known for other like romance books that I believe are more hockey based. I believe Pucking Around is one that I've seen a lot about recently that is hers. So she's a pretty well known like romance author. Yeah, she's got like two other series and a standalone, and apparently this one is part of a duet. So there's going to be another book in this, which makes me a little worried, but I'm actually kind of excited too, because that tells me that there are very likely more things in store. I'm currently, this is a 570 page book. I am currently on page 335. So I still have like 240, almost just over 240 pages left of this. And I was going to stop reading tonight because I just was on Jade's sprints with her Patreon. And I was getting kind of sleepy, but I'm kind of starting to perk up again now that I'm talking about this. So I think I might read at least a little bit more of this, maybe get to maybe 350, maybe like just round it out, you know, kind of thing, and then go to sleep. I've got my trusty dusty Jacksepticeye Doom Eternal playlist going on in the background that helps me sleep, because for some reason, ever since this series came out that he did for Doom Eternal, when the game first came out at the beginning of COVID, mind you, so this is like, Jesus, almost 4 years old? No. Gee, oh, I thought it was 2023 all of a sudden. What the hell? No, this is like going on a 5-year-old playlist. What the actual fuck? I told you, this week's been kooky. I don't know what's up from down anymore, truthfully, I feel like today. Anyway, this is a nearly 5-year-old playlist, but ever since this series came out on YouTube, I have not been able, like, especially if I'm by myself at home, like if Robert's out or something, I cannot go to sleep without this playing if I am by myself. I have to have this playing. It helps me fall asleep. I can fall asleep to pretty much anything, like that Robert puts on, for instance, for the most part, unless it's something I've never really seen before, or it's, you know, something that's really loud and obnoxious. But most of the time, he just puts on RuneScape videos, and I just fall asleep to that. This, I don't get through the first half an hour of this without falling asleep. Anybody got anything like that? I know my mom had this thing for a while where she would fall asleep to the Avengers, the first movie, and she would get maybe not even 10 minutes in. Like, Loki hadn't even walked into the movie, and she'd be asleep. Like, that's how she used to, like, fall asleep to that movie every single night. I do that with The Mummy sometimes. There are times where if I'm cozy enough, I will fall asleep watching The Mummy. And I've done that a time or two. But I don't really want to do that tonight. I want to watch Doom, because I actually haven't watched Doom Eternal in a while, because my husband has normally, the last couple of weeks, been home while I sleep. So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm already feeling it again. I'm feeling like I'm gonna go to sleep, but I've got my water with my flavor packet in it, because flavored water is still drinking water. I'm not going to judge you if you put in 3 flavors, and especially if they're sugared or not sugared. I don't care. If you're drinking your water with a flavor packet, you are still drinking water, in my opinion. Sound off in the comments. I don't care. But I've got, this is my weekend is fully booked cup, which is very appropriate for this weekend, because one thing I did want to say too is that this weekend I am planning on finishing this book and then getting through the entirety of the Monstress series to date, again, because of the fact that I am up to volume 9 now. And I am planning on then at least starting one more thing. Like, I want to finish this tomorrow, and then probably like tomorrow night read through all of Monstress, and then at the very least start, if not on Sunday, start another book. So it very well could be that I could get through, let's see, because there's like, what, 2 side comics for Monstress? So I could get through like 12 and start on a 13th book this weekend. I think it's possible. But yeah, I'm going to get to probably about 350 of this, finish this up tomorrow, spend most of the day basically doing that, because I don't have anywhere to go and I have sprints tomorrow. So that'll be helpful. And then from there, I think I don't have anything else planned this weekend. Like, I'm not going anywhere. My family's not coming to see me as far as I know. But yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say is that this is my weekend is fully booked cup that my sister got for me for Christmas, which today is my sister's birthday on the 21st. So please be sure to say happy birthday to my little sister. She turned 25 today. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about the fact that in a few months I'm going to be 28. No thanks. But I've got a nice cup of ice water with a Skittles kiwi lime flavor packet in it, which is very sweet. I don't think I'm going to get the Skittles ones again. I think they're a little too sweet in my opinion, but I'm going to at least go through my pack that I have because they're still drinkable. But I think I'm so used to like the sugar-free ones or something like that that I was drinking for a while, that I was using, that this is just really sweet, like really, really sweet. But it's also Skittles flavor, so what else did I expect? Those things are like pure sugar. Again, I don't judge. If you put it in your water, you're still drinking your water. It's just flavored at that point. But it's really weird because I've been being more hydrated recently. Not because necessarily I'm drinking a lot of water, which I actually am. I'm drinking a lot more than I used to. But I'm just drinking a lot more, like, beverages, basically. Like, I have a cup of coffee in the morning. I have my energy drink by about the afternoon. I've been drinking Poppy recently because I'm trying to, like, get my gut figured out. And the prebiotics in that are actually really helpful. And they taste actually pretty good, and they make me want to drink more of those as opposed to pop, which is a huge thing for me because I'm usually like a really big pop girly. And then I'm drinking like a cup of water, like a cup of flavored water, you know, or like something, you know, like this, or my Stanley, you know. So I'm like getting a lot of beverages in through the day, so I'm actually like really hydrated. And I feel like I'm feeling better, basically. Like, I feel like I'm in a good beverage-wise routine to where, like, I'm actually feeling good, and I'm not overstimulated, I'm not over-caffeinated, and, like, I honestly feel like I'm processing things better through my body, which is really weird, but, I don't know, something about how things are going right now with like my habits, and like I said, I haven't had pop in a week, maybe. I think it's been like a week, if not longer, and I honestly haven't even missed it. Like, I haven't had the time to drink one. I haven't had the ability to drink one because we don't have any in the house right now except for Werner's from when I was sick. And I don't touch that unless I'm sick. I haven't even really drank wine all that much. Like, I have a bottle of wine that is almost done that I tried drinking some of tonight, and I wasn't enjoying it. Like, it's also like a rosé, and a really dry rosé. So it was like not super pleasing to me. But, like, all I wanted to do while I drank that wine was drink water. That's, like, a huge thing of progress for me. Not because of the fact that, like, wine is better than everything else in the world, because it's not. You know, that would make me an alcoholic, I would think. But, I feel like I'm just naturally making better choices anymore, and it's been very, like, sudden. And I also realized, like, it's also been really beneficial, and, like, it's so weird. Like, I don't miss pop. I don't miss drinking it. Normally, it would be like, I am dying to have a bottle of Coke. Like, I, like, would kill for one. There are times, like, like that. And, like, every time I would go to the grocery store, especially if I was getting groceries and I'd get done, first thing I grab before I check out is I grab a bottle of pop. And I, honestly, for one, I haven't been to the grocery store in, like, over a week. My husband went and got groceries yesterday, and he doesn't get pop unless I specifically ask him to, because he doesn't drink it very much anymore unless it's in the house or it's diet or zero. But he's been actively not getting it because he knows that it's a thing. The more that we have it in the house, the more we drink it, and the worse we feel. So I don't know. I don't know what that whole rant was about. Obviously, I just been ruminating on these thoughts all day, needed to get them out, but I think I'm just proud of myself. I think that's the big thing, is I'm just proud of myself for the fact that I'm naturally making better choices, and it just feels like a part of my routine already. I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna read a little bit more of North is the Night before I fall asleep. And then tomorrow we will start the endeavor of reading and or completing books left, right, and center. Tomorrow's gonna be an interesting day with my reading. I'm pretty excited. Because I don't remember what it is I had slated to read after I finished Monstress. And I need to figure out when the two comics I have, the two side comics in Monstress I have, when they fall in the timeline. No, they're like prequels, I think. So I could read them beforehand. I'll do that. We'll do the prequel comics first, and then the main story. We'll do that. But anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow when I have finished North is the Night, because I do want to tell you my rating. I have a feeling it's going to at least be a 4-star. I will not be surprised if I give this 5, because I am really loving it so much. It is very addicting to read. But I know at the very least it's going to be like at least a 4.5, if not a high 4-star. So, anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Okay, happy Sunday. I got really busy Saturday with reading, and so I didn't update, but I did finish North is the Night by Emily Rath. Oh my god, I love this book so much. 5 out of 5 stars, was a 9 out of 10 on Cawpile. Like, oh my lord, I loved this. This was so well done, and I love the way that this book in particular ended. And I'm excited for the second book because it's gonna be super like battle heavy, and I'm super excited for that. But I loved this so much. There are a lot of content warnings though regarding this, and I'm gonna read through them real quick because I read them on sprints, and I didn't realize that they were gonna have this many content warnings, but it made sense considering the stuff I had read at this point. So there are depictions of fantasy violence in terms of kidnapping, blood and gore, torture, and on-page death. There is religious persecution, forced conversion, and themes of colonization and cultural genocide. There are multiple characters who experience different types of abuse, such as mental, physical, and emotional. There is a scene of attempted sexual assault, and while there is no sexual violence to any of the main characters, there is kind of dubious consent, questionable consent, because of uneven power dynamics. So keep in mind of those things. I love that that was listed in here because I think that that's super important for a lot of fantasy readers, especially that are getting into that darker romantasy kind of thing. Like, those are things that need to be talked about. So very much loved that. Amazing, great book. And now my other book is in the bedroom, but I will be reading The Spear That Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. I just filmed my March TBR, and so I am going to basically from here go and enjoy my day of reading because I've got pretty much everything done other than finishing this vlog on my to-do list done. So there's that. But I think at the very least I can get through The Spear That Cuts Through Water and maybe start on Monstress. We'll see. Maybe we'll start on that with reading the 2 comic prequels and then start gunning through this. I don't know, we'll see. I would like to be able to finish both, but Spear Cuts Through Water is like 518 pages, and so I don't know how fast I'm going to fly through that. But I'm going to finish up with a couple little things here and there on my computer and stuff like that, and then I'm going to go sit and read for a little while. Maybe have some lunch because it's just now after 12, but we'll see. So anyway, I'll check back in with you guys when I've made some progress in The Spear That Cuts Through Water. Well, in true Gabby fashion, I totally forgot to end this vlog. So it's Monday. I'm in the middle of sprints. It's 6:15. And Dougie's mad because he's not on his WALK with Dad. And Oscar is right now. So he's mad. So pardon his yellering and bellering today. But I did read about 17 pages of The Spear That Cuts Through Water. well, with that, I DNF'd this 17 pages in. Didn't like the writing, was very confused. World building, I don't understand. It just went way over my head, truthfully. Not a book for me, but it's okay. Then I did end up reading, I decided to skip reading the rest of the Monstress books because I was like, I kind of remember what's going on. I don't feel like I really need to read through all of them again. So I did read Monstress Volume 9, The Possessed, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. Not too bad, definitely kind of a filler of sorts, but it did lend some interesting information about how exactly things are going. So I did read those. So I did pretty much complete my goal for this weekend, which was good. And then I did start the first 20 pages of Butcher and Blackbird, and I'm already loving this. Like, I'm not surprised, truthfully, because I'm really loving dark romances, as twisted as they can be, but I really think I'm gonna like this series. I adore them. The banter between Rowan and Sloane is like, mwah, chef's kiss. I love it. I love it. So very excited to continue with this week. But anyway, that's going to be it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. I feel like I got a lot done this week, considering I didn't film nearly as much as I probably should have. But par for the course, because I've been just... It was a really crazy week. It just was kind of odd. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys didn't know, I do have a Patreon where you can access exclusive content from me and also get early access to videos like this and other videos. So if you want to go check it out, go ahead. It is linked down in the description for you guys. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and I would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.